Okay. Okay, if anybody's camera shy, just letting you know, I'm going to record this, as Bobby mentioned, for the Greenfest page for people that couldn't join us today. Let me share my screen, bring up our slideshow here. There we go. You want to kick us off, Bobby?
Absolutely, and that picture is great. That's from, is that from last year's Greenfest or year before?
2 years ago. Last year was a rainy year.
Oh, I know, I remember.
No, excuse me. This was from the rainy year.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like reindeer to me. Yeah.
Well, let me officially welcome everyone to Sierra Club's virtual table. I'm Bobby Safransky, the events director here at Clean Air Council. And again, I'm excited to welcome you to one of many events at the 2020 Virtual Greenfest Philly. If you're not familiar with Greenfest, it's the area's largest environmental festival, celebrating all things sustainable for 15 years. Yes, this is our 15th year hosting Greenfest. This year, the event, as no surprise, is entirely virtual with live interactive programming like the one you're at today. And it's scheduled through the Sunday, September 27th. You can see the full list at cleanair.org/Greenfest. And you can also see all the previous things you might have missed at a recap page at the same cleanair.org/Greenfest. Clean Air Council, if you're not familiar with us, we're a member-supported organization working to protect everyone's right to a healthy environment. We have over 8,000 members who bring their passion in the fight for better environmental health protections and are key to our ongoing work to protect public health and ecosystems. And again, you can find out more at cleanair.org. I think with that, I can send it right over to the Sierra Club team and then get started.
Okay, Jim, you're on.
You're muted.
Oh, yes.
I have to take the first drink for talking while I'm muted. I'll remind everybody that if they have a chance to please mute yourself until you're ready to speak. I don't think that'll be a problem today. We're also used to this. So my name is Jim Wiley. I'm the chair of the Pennsylvania chapter and the Southeast Pennsylvania group for the Sierra Club. The Sierra Club is a national environmental advocacy organization. We are a member-led organization with our 3.8 million members electing volunteer leaders that set priorities, direction, and hire staff to move our objectives forward. The staff includes administrators, organizers, lobbyists, lawyers, and our volunteers are organized at every level, state, local, and national organizing. To be involved. We encourage our volunteers to be involved at all those levels in advocating on issues such as climate change, environmental justice, clean air, water and land preservation, environmental candidate support, and including social inequities not obviously related to environmental issues. But really, there is no environmental justice without racial and social equity. Sierra Club is a 501c nonprofit organization with C3 and C4 branches that we keep separate, meaning that we do lobbying and support candidates, but we don't use tax-deductible donations to do that work. We have 63 chapters across the country. Mostly, the chapter means a state. In Pennsylvania, why can't that change here? In Pennsylvania, we're organized into about 10 groups. And in the southeast of Pennsylvania is the Southeast Pennsylvania Group, very imaginatively named. As you can see, that is comprised of the 5 counties around and including Philadelphia. So what we have here today are volunteers that are going to talk about just some of the initiatives that we've been working on. I have a nice list here. So this has been, I don't have to tell anybody, but 2020 has been a wacky year. It's been hard to have meetings. It took a while for us to figure that out in the first part of the year. And we have been challenged, our communities have been challenged with impacts of racism, environmental justice, the pandemic, and the limitations of social services. We've been advocating for an equitable transition to clean, renewable energy. Usually that means focusing on speaking with elected officials, local elected officials, but certainly they've had other priorities in the first half of this year, but we're getting back to having that conversation again. We've also been tracking and voicing our concerns about local issues like the refinery developments in Philadelphia, PGW's future, the Mariner East pipeline in Chester County, the proposed LNG terminal and the transportation plans that just looks horrible for moving liquid natural gas to that compressor plant on the Delaware. And of course, air quality monitoring, do more of that around the region. And of course, elections matter. We do have volunteers working with supporting candidates that support our issues. With that, I'm going to introduce our volunteers that are going to be in breakout rooms with everyone in just a moment. I'll just name them all off, and then we'll go around and I'll tell you who's going to be in the room, right? So we're going to have a room to talk about outings, which have been tough to do this year, but there has been work on defining what we can do this year and what we'd like to do next year. Environmental justice locally and nationally. Ready for 100, we have 2 different rooms to talk about Ready for 100% renewable energy transition in the suburbs and in Philadelphia. And then we have plastics, reducing our use of single-use plastics. So let me start with that. Karen, you want to take yourself off mute and just say something so your picture pops up?
Sure. I have been involved with plastics campaigns, both with Sierra Club and with my local food co-op. I'm going to give some brief facts and figures about plastics, and then I hope we can have a good discussion about things we're doing in our own lives to try to reduce our plastic use.
Okay, thank you. Robin and Megan, going to talk about environmental justice.
Well, this is Robin. I think what we'd like to do is frame the overall environmental justice realm, both the emergence of the movement and how the Sierra Club has come to appreciate the need to be engaged on the environmental justice issues and how they relate to some of the other challenges faced in communities of color and low-income communities. And then we'll have a local example about Eastwick as a particularly stark example in Philly. You know, Megan, if you have anything else to add.
No, that sounds great. Looking forward to discussing more.
All right, thank you, Megan and Robin. Meredith, our group outings chair.
Hi, I'm going to talk about our outings program, what it has been in the past, what it is currently, and what it hopefully will be in the near future.
Thank you. And Bill Saby, Ready for 100 Suburbs.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bill Saby in Montgomery County. I've been involved with the Ready for 100 campaign in the suburbs for about 3 years and familiar with what's going on in the other counties. So I'll give an overview on how we work that campaign locally.
Thank you, Bill. And Dave Moscatello and Jeannie Myers for Ready for 100 Philadelphia.
Hi all, Dave Moscatello here. I've been a volunteer with Ready for 100 since the campaign launched several years ago, and I'll be discussing what we've done so far in Philadelphia and how we plan to move forward to make our commitments a reality.
Okay, thank you all very much. Emily, why don't you start putting our volunteers in their rooms, and I am going to take a pause to see if there's any questions from our guests today. I see we've got a few. Once Emily gets our volunteers um, assigned, then we'll ask you guys where you want to go, and hopefully. So I should step back and say the format here is we're going to ask you what room you want to join of those five. We'll put you there, and there's just going to be like a 10-minute talking points discussion with those volunteers, and then come back to the main room, and we'll put you in a different room to hear about something else. So we'll have time for 2 or 3 of those iterations, and then we'll have a bit of a wrap up at the end at like 10 minutes to 2 to see if there's any further questions and to just check in with people. Okay, any questions? Talk to me.
Who's working on the oil refinery? Would that be the environmental justice group?
I think Dave has something about that. I would say ready for 100, ready for 100 Philly.
Thank you.
Would you say that? Meredith, you get me.
Hi, how's it going?
Okay. I don't know. So none of our guests picked outings, but maybe you want to, maybe
That's
somebody
okay.
will later, but if you want to just kind of go through your talking points.
Yeah, let me see. Hold on, so I need to hit record down here. All right, so welcome to Outings. Sierra Club has a few different outings programs, one that is national, which is a much larger program, and then we have our local program. And so I will talk about the Pennsylvania program, and in particular the Southeast Pennsylvania one. So in the past, we've been able to do our outings in person, and we've been able to do things as short as garden tours to as long as overnight canoe trips. We've done hiking trips and other, basically whatever the outings leaders can think of that they want to do, there's an outing for it. The Southeast Pennsylvania group includes Philadelphia and the surrounding counties, and we work together to get people outside in that area. And ways that people can engage with the outings program in the past and hopefully again in the future. You can join us on an outing. We have our listing in a few places. I've posted some of the links where we post our outings in the chat. It's either on the Sierra Club Campfire website, which is available if you're a Sierra Club member, or in our meetup. And all of our outings are posted on there. And yeah, so you can either join us for an outing there, or if you're interested in leading an outing, we can, all of our leaders are volunteers. So you can join us as a volunteer leader. Right now, our outings program, because of COVID and working with the national branch or the National Sierra Club, we have been limited to doing just digital outings. We've been able to do kind of virtual hikes, virtual outings, and let people know what is available out there. And we've been posting those on our Instagram and Facebook account, as well as our YouTube account, which is linked on those. And hopefully very soon in the future, we're going to be able to do what we want to call dispersed outings, which would be have a virtual component, but a segment where individuals go outside and either go for a hike, go geocaching, do a cleanup, and then we can meet all back together for a virtual, check-in and an experience. And then hopefully again in the future, once we get past once we get past the worst of this COVID, we'll be able to do some safe outdoor hikes. It will be smaller groups and smaller trips, wearing masks with sanitizer, all of the safety stuff. But that's what we're gearing for in the near future until we can, get ourselves back to our normal outings. In addition to our local group outings, we have 2 other groups that are both also local. We have our ICO and our military organizations, and they work with particular groups. The military obviously works with the veterans, and they do some overnights. They do some other outings. They're led by let's see, Brian.
Brian Crenshaw. Yeah.
Brian Crenshaw, thank you. And our Inspiring Connections Outdoors with Mabari, and they lead groups with mostly youth organizations that they can pair together and help them get outside too. So he's done some work with groups like Mighty Writers, various like school groups, and getting low income, diverse backgrounds, like basically everybody outside. And so those are 2 other groups that are within the local outings. We currently, those also are kind of on hold at the moment until we get through COVID. But some of the in addition, we kind of pair up with some organizations to help them kind of get their folks going. We've done walks with the Neighborhood Garden Trust, and that's been community gardens around Philadelphia, doing walking tours with them and helping them organize a walking tour for their gardeners. There have been trips to kayak around the refineries to do a refinery tour. There's been several cleanups. So in addition to just getting out for a recreational hike or activity, we do some pairing with other organizations to help them with their own missions.
Yeah, I was going to ask, can you describe 1 or 2 outings that have been, that you've really liked, that you've been on or led in the past few years?
So I have been on outings with the the Philadelphia leaders, and one of the nice ones that is monthly is a one led by Amy, who does the Trolley Trail full moon hike. So it's kind of a lesser known trail in Philadelphia, and every full moon she takes a group out to explore that trail. Depending on the time of year, it gets darker sooner and sooner during that hike, so it's kind of a fun night hike. And she also has a lot of good information about both the history of the trail, kind of the seasonal full moon, and good tips for hiking at night. One of the trips that I led that I was really excited about last year was an overnight down the Mullica River in the Pine Barrens, and we rented canoes and paddled down to a kind of more remote campsite, and then camped for the night and then paddled out again. And that's just a really cool ecosystem that's pretty unique to the area and also just an hour away. So there can be things that are within the city or like in a more populated place, or we've been taking some trips out that feel a bit more remote, even though our Eastern Pennsylvania area is pretty populated.
Yeah, we used to do more paddles in Chester County. We want to get back to doing that either on the Brandywine or in Marsh Creek, or a perfect one that I've come to love. I don't know if you're aware of it, is Lock 60 in Phoenixville.
Yeah.
So there's a stretch along the Schuylkill River in Phoenixville where there's an old canal, right? The canal with locks right there. So you can put your boat or canoe or kayak in the Schuylkill, go down about probably about 3 or 5 miles, get out in Portage, only about 100 yards, back up to the canal, and then paddle back up to your car on the canal. So
That's really cool.
It's a nice
And-
loop. You don't have to paddle.
And
up
that's
river.
the nice thing about the outings network in Pennsylvania is I've been here for 10 years and I know a lot of hiking trails and some of my canoeing trails, but I don't know about the canoeing trips that you know really well.
Mhm.
And so it's been really great to kind of like connect with people and see what they're really excited about in the region. And even a small, a short day hike can be really exciting or a small day trip can be really exciting for in a new place. And it's sometimes hard to find those places unless you know where to go. And so that's a really cool thing about the program is people bring their own experiences and trips that they love and interests and can share that with other people.
Yeah,
So hopefully we'll be able to get out and do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have that on the list when we get back to it. Oh, another good feature of this canal is there's a bar on it as well. You can stop and
That's always perfect.
have some refreshment. All right, I'm going to go back to the other
Yeah.
room. You hang out here.
Okay.
You can probably stop your recording and it'll, I don't know if you've done that before, but when you leave Zoom, it'll process it and tell you where to find it.
Okay. And then, so should I stay here until what, like 1:50?
You should
Ish?
stay
Or Emily's
there
gonna.
until Emily calls us all back.
Okay.
Yeah?
Great. All right. Thank
Mary.
you.
Philadelphia people into something else. Hi, Jim. Welcome back.
I'm back. So
Did you have a nice talk with
yeah, that was good. She
Meredith?
started the
Nobody
recording.
new here.
Yeah, she started a recording, did her pitch, and then stopped the recording. So we've got that done.
Okay. Yeah.
Why don't you put me in with Bill, and I'll do the same thing with Bill. Nobody else is there, although somebody else might. People are either in the Philly. So it sounds like all of our guests are Philly people, so they're probably not so interested in the
Okay.
Herb's work.
For some reason, oh, there. Move to, okay, there. Okay, you should be moved.
Wow.
Says you've not joined.
There we go. Oh, so for future reference, I didn't get a pop-up, but I clicked on more options at the bottom, and then it said I had a option for join breakout room. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Jim, it's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, yeah. Turns out all of our guests are Philadelphia people. Did you go through your presentation?
I was just going to start that because I think I've got about 10 minutes before I return. Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, it's I have my chat window up. It's not blocking anything, is it?
No, I don't see it.
Oh, good. So Zoom's pretty smart.
Did you start your recording?
Good reminder. Thank you. Okay, welcome to the my overview of the Ready for 100 program in the suburbs. Thank you for coming today. I'd like to give you an overview of what we're campaign Ready for 100 campaign is all about and what we're doing in the suburbs. There's another group that's also talking about what's going on in Philadelphia today, and my contact information is at the bottom if you'd like to reach me after the presentation. So Ready for 100 is a commitment we're asking our municipalities and communities to make to transition to 100% clean renewable energy. And as part of our outreach to each municipality, we're asking them to create a resolution so they make this commitment, and it involves two goals. One is to target to reach 100% clean renewable electricity by 2035. The second is then to reach the rest of your energy usage in heat and transportation by 2050. And also as part of our Sierra Club principles, that we want to make sure that this process is inclusive for everyone, equitable and just and fair, so that everybody's involved in the commitment to make that transition, and no part of our community or population is left out. Everyone is equally heard and involved. So as of this month, we've reached a fairly high goal target. This has been in the works for 3 years, that started in Chester County, but now we have 33 municipalities that have made the commitment. And you can see here by the list and the map colored in green, of course, Philadelphia being the largest green area in the lower right. But you can start to see how the county involvement is starting to take place. Bucks is our most recent county to really get involved, so they're still pretty new to this. You can see it started in Chester County, and they're up to 13 commitments now. Delaware County has 5, and Montgomery County has 12. And we're continuing to outreach to our neighbors and other communities. So we have monthly meetings, and we do as much as we can to reach additional communities and inform them and let them know what we're doing. So as part of the process, after we asked the municipality to make the resolution, part of its text is to say that within the first year after adoption, that you would start working on an energy transition plan. But the other way that the campaign works is that sometimes we reach mayors first, or they stick their hand up and say, hey, I want to make a statement for my town or borough, and they actually get the conversation started. So it's nice when we see mayors step up and make that commitment. Otherwise, we work with the supervisors, councils, or commissioners, usually through an environmental board, which is a citizen-led committee to advise their township or borough on environmental issues. We found that's the easiest way to reach our municipalities. And then because we've got the environmental board members interested in environmental goals, the best way for them to communicate their township values and goals to their council or supervisors. So part of that then is to kind of make this a comprehensive plan, and to include that in your comprehensive plan if possible. So Pennsylvania, typically the comprehensive plan is updated every number of years. And so if you don't have energy transition goals in your comp plan, that would be a good place to consider adding in your next round of updates. But the main target for the first year is to work on the energy transition plan. And that's our roadmap, layout of the goals, the values to how we're going to reach our targets in 2035 and 2050. While we do that, we want to make sure we involve everyone that's involved in the community and the municipalities. So we do stakeholder engagement. We'd like to reach out to our institutions, businesses, faith and religious organizations, anyone in our community, to help get their input as to the values and goals that they would like to have included in the plan. Part of that is creating a baseline, looking at what the current municipal energy use is, their expenditures, their greenhouse gas inventory, which is a really good resource for that in our areas, DVRPC. They have a really good online analysis of our greenhouse gas emissions that they do every 5 years. And that's published on their website. So you can look up your greenhouse gas numbers for your community. And then as part of the transition plan and starting to work on goals, we want to emphasize energy efficiency options. The best adoption of clean energy is not to have to use energy. So the more you can make your systems efficient and use more effective ways of using energy, you can avoid that need to convert it to renewable energy. And then we look at ways that you can bring in local generation. Do you have rooftop or open space that you could put solar panels? A lot of different ideas that we want to include as we develop the energy transition plan. So as part of that effort, we found that in the 3 years that we've been working on this in the region, that a lot of us individually, environmental boards, being volunteers, we didn't have a lot of extra time or capacity, and the townships were so busy that creating the energy transition plan in the first year was a bit of a challenge for many of us. So one of our leaders in Chester County, Paula Klein, was able to get a grant and to develop a clean energy transition planning series of weekly meetings where we learn more about how to create an energy transition plan. It has a structure that's based on a guidebook from the Department of Energy that we're using as our baseline. And we also have a draft document that we will be filling in for each of our municipalities as we work towards this. So we have 14 sessions. We've been working on this we're about halfway. I think we just had our 7th meeting. And so we're making a lot of progress. We've learned a lot. We're talking about energy efficiency, how to look at energy procurement, electricity purchasing, the contracts you're in, what kind of provider that you're working with, and then how would we start to acquire renewable energy, whether we can put solar in our own municipalities or whether we buy it together in a group purchase program like a power purchase agreement, which is one way that Philadelphia was able to create a 70 megawatt solar farm in Pennsylvania, and they're able to create a lot of renewable electricity for their needs, for their operational needs. We'd like to do that in the suburbs. We need to bring together a lot of municipalities to do that and make a commitment to do that over multiple years. As you can see at the bottom, the 28 municipalities are some additional municipalities that have not actually adopted the resolution, but their values are such that they know they want to move towards renewable energy. So we have quite a few that have been included in this education series that don't quite have the renewable energy commitment yet, but as a resolution, but they will have a draft plan that they can start with, and hopefully then they'll sign on and add on the resolution as part of that outcome. So that's pretty much the majority of what I wanted to share with you. I do have a slide of resources. If you'd like to find out more about each of our counties, I have links for each. And I need to add the Delaware County meeting time, but I believe they meet monthly on the first week. I think it's on a Monday or Tuesday, but I'll get that updated. You can see the other monthly meetings. So if you'd like more information, you can reach me at my contact information. I'll put that first slide back up just so you can see. And then feel free to reach out and we'll share more information about Ready for 100 in the suburbs. We'd love to have you join us and add your community to the planning that we're doing. Thank you.
That's great, Bill. We got a few minutes left. I'll leave first and go back over to the main room. For the record, let me ask a couple of questions.
Okay.
What has been the response here in 2020 by the officials that have, by the municipalities that have made commitments or were thinking about it, and then the pandemic hit, and what has happened and what is happening?
So there has been a little bit of slowdown here, as we've had our municipalities have other challenges here to meet their financial budgets, but we have had a couple communities actually reach out and ask for presentations. Western Oregon is our one of our more recent resolution adoptions. I believe one in Bucks County came in since the pandemic, and even Chester County. So we do have continuing interest here in growing this collaboration among all our different municipalities. So as part of our networking, additional communities are looking for presentations and talking to their council. So I think they're waiting a little bit until they get their feedback on the ground as they gain more resources and are able to take a look at new priorities for what they want to do next. The robust or inclusive energy transition planning, each of the communities had to kind of give approval that we could get access to electric bills. So I think they are very happy that the volunteers are working on this plan for them, and we're looking forward to presenting those plans back to their our leadership in the beginning of the new year. So there is still continuing work going on.
So if I live in a township that's not on your list of the 33, but I want to start talking to my township, how can I get you to help me? What's the first thing I should do?
So you have a couple ways. You can reach out to those of us that are in the leadership for each of our counties. You can start with me or reach out to Jim or one of our other leaders. Also, the web pages for each of our counties give you some good resources to start with. I would encourage you to attend a monthly meeting just to come and hear how the other volunteers are working with their communities, because what we found is that the monthly meeting really gives us a great way to share some of the challenges and some of the ideas that we've made progress with. For instance, one of our townships did an energy audit and shared that they had found that even though they had one of those smart energy management systems, that it hadn't been set up properly, and there was actually quite a few adjustments that they could save quite a bit of money over their winter operations. So those types of collaboration, networking really help us grow, and we'd love to have your input to have additional ideas and help you figure out how we can help you get started with your community. There's a lot of good templates that we
Let me add that I was on a Train the Trainers session yesterday, and the National Ready for 100 is about to deploy a brand new interactive toolkit for organizing. It's
Excellent.
kind of all that stuff that you and I, Bill, found on the Info Hub in Google's shared drives. They're making it web-based and it's much more accessible. It's still not debugged. I'm kind of on the debug team. But in October, it's going to be rolled out, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with all the volunteers.
Terrific. Yeah, I look forward to that too, Jim. Thanks.
All right, I think you can stop your recording, but hang out in your room. I'm going to go back to the other.
Thanks for stopping in, Jim.
All right, thank you.
I don't know. I'm not prepared for this.
Okay, Jim's back.
Okay, Jim. We've got a visitor here, but we can't hear him, and I don't think he can hear us.
Oh,
Bobby suggested I try the chat, so I just sent him a message.
well, we're running out of time anyway.
Kimberly's back, maybe.
Yeah, let's just get set up for the wrap up.
Okay. So shall I close all rooms?
No, let's
It'll
wait.
give them a 1 minute time to wrap up if I do
Yeah,
that.
let's wait till 1:40.
Wait a couple more minutes.
Yeah, unless they all start coming back.
Oops, I guess they're all coming back.
Okay, well then you can go ahead and do that, Emily.
Okay. Okay, sent the message or did that.
Hopefully everyone found the breakout groups engaging and exciting. There were some good topics there. I'm excited to see the recorded presentations.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad we got visitors.
Yeah. I looked at some of Karen's pictures. Yes, it had some nice ugly pictures of plastic there.
Well, at 1:30, we just decided people were happy with the discussion we were having, so they stayed with plastics until
That's fine.
now.
That's fine.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Jim.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Let me see if I can see everybody and the screen. Yes. Just before everybody goes on about their day, I just wanted to point you to a couple of resources. Here is our Sierra Club website. It's easy abbreviation is sc.org/PA for Pennsylvania -SPG, Southeastern Pennsylvania Group. So PA-SPG. And then we've got a very short participation follow-up, which I am going to, how do I do this? I have to get out of this and grab this here. And I can put it in the chat. Chat.
You might not be able to see the chat until you stop sharing your screen.
I can do it. There it is. Everybody see that in their chat?
Yep.
And if you wouldn't mind, even our Sierra Club volunteers, please take a minute to fill that out. We'll get some feedback. I will stop the share and ask for questions. Anybody have any questions or suggestions about Sierra Club in general, or anything about Greenfest? Bobby's still here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, Pat.
Okay, is it Robin who is the head of the Environmental Justice Working Group? She was starting to answer a question of mine, and all of a sudden we zoomed out to the main room. Could she finish that?
I can, I don't know if this is the right place for it. Why don't we follow up? I'll just put my email address in the chat, and then if you want to get in touch with me, we can talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
Christopher, Eric, any questions, any suggestions?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll follow up with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I've got your emails, or Dave got them in your group, and hope to see you at future organizing meetings. Yeah, if there's any suggestions. I stopped in. You guys didn't get to hear the outings splurge, but we've got that recording, and I'll send it to everybody so that they can catch up on the summaries of what we're doing in those other areas. So I didn't have anything really prepared. Just anybody have any contributions? No? Oh,
That was interesting.
yeah.
Hopefully Greenfest will be the same next year. Back on the
Yep,
street.
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Sure beats the rain.
That is
Well,
true. At least we're dry.
John Butler, I've just unmuted you. You had some feedback when you joined before. Did you want to? I guess you were just listening in.
Bobby, how was registration for this year virtually?
Registration was pretty good. We ended up with a decent number of people that have come to each thing. And the nice thing about it is that we are recording all of these sessions, so they will kind of continue to live on our website, meaning that if you miss the event, you can always catch up and watch it again. So I'm excited to see those numbers kind of keep growing as people share them and see the things that they missed that they were excited about. But it's nothing like the big physical event. You know, you just can't. It's hard to get the same experience as a 10, 15,000 people walking through a festival for a day.
Yeah.
But this has its advantages. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we heard you.
This has its advantages too. I mean, we're specializing on different topics, and you can go back like you're talking about and see and talk to different people and see things that at Greenfest it's kind of hard because there is so much going on. So I don't know how a combination of two things could work, but this was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for
Thank you.
participating.
Thanks all.
Thanks,
Welcome.
everyone.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you again.
Looking forward to in person.
Take care.
Hope to see you all somewhere.
One of these days.
Anywhere.